What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some urgent breaking news today, and it's not good, folks, as the bid has been accepted from Bayern Munich to Harry Kane. David Ornstein broke the news and said that Bayern Munich have reached an agreement with Tottenham to sign Harry Kane. Sources in Germany indicate Bayern's proposal worth above 100 million euros has been accepted by Tottenham now. 30-year-old has been leaning towards staying, but now must make a decision. Ali Gold says, as per David Ornstein, Bayern and Spurs have reached an agreement for Harry Kane. Now it's down to the player. And Romano says that Bayern and Tottenham have reached an agreement in principle for Harry Kane, worth more than 100 million euros package. It's now up to the player. Kane has to make the final decision very soon after long negotiations. And Matti Moretto says that the fee for Kane is 120 million euros with add-ons included. I actually didn't think this day was going to come after, what we've been talking about the last couple of days. I'm literally shocked and distraught that potentially our best player of all time could be leaving the club. Earlier on in the window, even as recent as last week, I was saying that Spurs should accept the offer if it does come in. But then I did kind of change my mind and flip-flop on that decision and think after that friendly where he scored 4 goals, I just had a long and hard think about it, and I was just nowhere near ready for someone like Harry Kane to leave this football club, the greatest player in our history, our top ever goal scorer. And now, as much as it was close to him leaving so throughout this window, we've never been closer than we are now. We have literally accepted a bid, and now it is down for Harry Kane to accept or reject this offer. And you know what? I did get a bit of info last night, which I took with a massive pinch of salt, because I've never had info from this source before. And they did tell me last night that the bid was accepted and Harry Kane will reject the bid to stay at Tottenham for another year, to go and leave on a free at the end of the season. But, like I said, take that with a massive pinch of salt. And I don't know what happens from here.
Yeah, I mean, you would think if we were to believe how this transfer saga has unfolded throughout the summer, that there shouldn't be much issue between Harry Kane and Bayern Munich when it comes to personal terms. Bayern have been pursuing Harry Kane for many, many weeks. They've been very outwardly, aggressively pursuing him publicly, saying that if Harry Kane keeps his promise, he's going to be a Bayern Munich player, and it's up to Bayern to agree a fee. I'm shocked that Spurs have. It depends what the fee is as to how surprised I am Tottenham have agreed a fee. If what Ornstein is saying, he's saying more than 100 million euros. What that fee is specifically is hard to say. Sami Mokbel is saying 95 million. Matteo Moretto is saying 120 million euros all inclusive. If it's that figure, I'm not shocked that it's been accepted, and I do think that's probably an acceptable fee for Harry Kane, given that he's got a year left, and if he does want to leave. I've always said if they hit 100 million pounds, as a fee Tottenham are getting, and their add-ons on top, I think that's a fee that's acceptable, and I can see Tottenham agreeing that kind of fee. I think that's too hard to turn down with a player who could be going on a free next year. But if we're looking at 100 million, which has been suggested by a few other places, 100 million euros plus add-ons, I guess if the add-ons are achievable and it takes Harry Kane, if it takes the deal to over 100 million pounds, then I think that's what we said last week. We can see that offer being accepted as well from the club. So I didn't think that they were going to put in that kind of bid and get it to 100 million pounds, but it looks like they have done it. It looks like Spurs have accepted it, and it's gutting because it was so close to maybe the start of the season. I was really getting used to the fact that Harry Kane was going to be here this season, and I wasn't ready to get basically the rug pulled under me, and the fact that now Harry Kane looks set to leave, I'm gutted about it. It's heartbreaking. If the fee that Matteo Moretto has stated is true, then it's understandable. And at this point, I think if Harry Kane accepts the bid, accepts the offer, which I can't see why he wouldn't, given what Bayern. I mean, look, if I was advising Harry Kane, if I was Kane's agent, I would advise him to reject it, because I think he can get a better offer next summer. I think he's going to have more offers next summer. He can get more money next summer, and that's what I would advise him to do if I was his agent. I think it's a better move for him to wait out a year and build more interest from other clubs, and he can stay in England. There's all these different things. And also, if Tottenham really have improved, there's even the possibility of staying at Tottenham as well. So I think all those possibilities remain open as long as he stays at Tottenham. Once he moves to Bayern Munich, he's committing at least the next 2 or 3 years of his career to Germany. And is that something that he really wants to do? And can he get a better offer if he stays? So that's what I'd advise him to do. But maybe he sees it as kind of doing Tottenham a favour in a way, going now to Germany and getting a big fee for Tottenham when he could be leaving on a free next summer, and that would really not be in the club's best interest to let him go on a free. So maybe he sees it in that way. So judging by how Bayern Munich have been going about this transfer, I would assume that personal terms won't be an issue between Kane and Munich.
Well, we heard personal terms were already agreed before the deal was agreed anyway. So, I mean, but I think there's difference between, especially in this deal, because in my opinion, I mean, I've said it all along, by the way, that I think that a deal will get struck by Tottenham and Bayern Munich. The way the negotiations were going, they kept upping and upping and upping. I think it was inevitable for them to reach a figure that Daniel Levy was happy with. That has come to pass now. But the way I look at it is that it just doesn't sit right with me that Kane would want to go to Bayern Munich in his heart of hearts with everything that he's been through this career, so close to Alan Shearer's record. He desperately, in my opinion, wants to go win a Premier League or something like that. So I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me completely that he wants to go to Bayern. And in my opinion, there's one thing, agreeing personal terms before a deal is done, and I'm talking specifically about the Harry Kane deal. And there's another thing actually after the bid is accepted and going and actually completing the transfer. And I don't know. I don't think this is over by any stretch of the imagination. And I think it is, very likely, well, not likely, but I think it is a big possibility that Harry Kane could still reject this Bayern Munich deal and not actually go through with it, and end up waiting at Tottenham for one more year and going on a free.
That would really make Bayern look so stupid if they've gone through all this effort only for Kane himself to reject their offer. I just can't see them being this aggressive and this sure about the transfer without assurances from Kane's camp that if a deal is struck, he would accept the bid. And I feel like at this point, now that a deal has been accepted, you'd have to think that Kane is going to be willing to go. Look, unless something has changed in the last few weeks, maybe at the beginning of the window, Kane was looking at the whole project at Tottenham and thinking, look, I've committed the last 4 years, we've been going nowhere. As much as Ange has come in, and maybe there could be potential of going in the right direction, don't want to waste any more time when it comes to winning trophies. I want to get going straight away. But because there's been a delay in negotiations and toing and froing, and obviously during that time he's been with Ange and the team, he's seen what Ange is capable of firsthand on the training ground, and he's seen what where we're heading and what kind of how Ange wants to play. Has that changed his mind as to the rush he is in to go and start winning trophies straight away and go to a club like Bayern Munich? Maybe he's seen what Ange is doing and he's thinking, look, maybe staying here for another year won't be so bad, and in a year's time I'm going to be in a better position anyway. So there is that capability that maybe the situation has changed ever since he gave Bayern his word saying I'll move. Maybe the situation has changed because negotiations are taking so long. So that is a possibility, but I find it hard to believe he would. I guess that does make sense, that being possible, but I still feel like Kane will accept the bid if Bayern have been that aggressive, unless because I'm sure if his mind has changed, they would have got word of that, and they still kind of keep upping the bid. They've still been very aggressive pursuing him, so I assume this deal is going to get done. I assume he's going to accept the Bayern bid, and I think we got to now, if that does happen, which I think it will, we got to think about how we're going to spend this money, because we only have a few weeks to spend it. Everyone now knows we got a big money to spend. So are people going to try and up their prices now whenever we go in for a player? It's going to be interesting if the eventuality happens and Kane does end up accepting the Bayern bid, what the rest of the transfer window looks like for Tottenham.
Before we get into what the rest of the transfer window could potentially look like for Tottenham, do you think that we get an answer on this today?
I would think so. Today or tomorrow. I think in the next 48 hours, 100%. I think probably likely today, to be honest, because I don't think you can waste any more time.
And I know the deadline was Saturday night, just before the season starts, but for this to happen 2 days, 3 days before the big kickoff of the Premier League it's a kick in the teeth, isn't it? It's a kick in the face.
For sure, definitely for Ange. 100%. He's got all his plans ready. He's been planning for the Brentford game at the start of the season, and I'm sure this would have thrown him for a loop. The fact that it's so close to the season, he must have been thinking and planning for Harry Kane to be starting on Sunday, and the fact that that's now not going, looks likely it's not going to happen. That's got to be big. It's got to be gutting. It's got to be a blow to what we're looking to achieve this season, with not having the best striker in the Premier League as part of our team. Look, so the pressure's going to go on now, Richarlison, and we're going to have to hope that he can step up in Kane's shoes and start.
He ain't gone just yet, Sim. He ain't gone just yet.
Look, well, I think we got to look at the reality, and it looks like he looks like he's going. But look, we'll have to hold out hope that Kane might still reject the bid, but I'm not going to be too hopeful on that, to be honest.
Florian Plettenberg does say, though, Kane is on the verge of joining Bayern Munich, but he would say that.
He would say that, bloody Plettenberg.
But look, I do have, I do think the most likelihood situation now is he does go to Bayern. There's no two ways about it. I do think that. But there is still a small part of me that thinks that when push comes to shove, does Harry Kane really want to go to Germany? He is all well and good, and I'm sure he spoke to Bayern Munich in good faith, and I'm sure he thought long and hard with his brother and all his representatives and everyone around him, giving him advice. And I'm sure at that stage he was open to joining Bayern Munich. But I think also probably in his mind at that stage he thought it's probably very hard for Daniel Levy and Bayern Munich to come to an agreement. Now everything that's gone on since then, he's met Ange Postecoglou. We've heard that he's very happy with the way Postecoglou's managing the team. He's buying into his methods and everything like that. He's been playing in pre-season, went on the tour and everything. And then after that, we heard he's leaning more towards staying at Tottenham than he is to going. But now the fee has been agreed. I just feel like now push comes to shove, he might just still lean towards staying at Tottenham for one more year, because like you said before, he knows after this year of football, every single option is open to him, even going to Bayern Munich.
That's what I'd advise him. I would advise him to wait. But I think from Tottenham's point of view, if that bid that from Matteo Moretto is accurate, if that's the accurate number, 120 million euros all inclusive, I think they just can't turn that down at this point. So I understand why they've accepted that bid. So
yeah, I understand it. I understand it, but we all know it right now. It's all on Harry Kane. The deals between the club is completely done. It's all up to one man, our record goal scorer, our best player of all time, to make the decision whether he wants to go play in Germany when he's so close to that Alan Shearer record, when he knows one more year to go and he can join any club in the Premier League and potentially go win the Premier League in a year's time.
Look, as a fan, I want him to. I'm hoping he rejects it, and I'm hoping to see Kane for another year. And I'm really excited. I was excited by the prospect of seeing him under Ange and how he was going to fit in and what we could do next season. But from Levy's point of view, I'm sure that even though Kane is so invaluable to this club, when it comes to that kind of figure, especially if he's going to leave on a free, I think he's probably thinking in the best interest of the club. He's thinking that the best thing is to accept that kind of offer. But I just worry about how we're going to invest it. If we invest it properly, then I guess even though it's hard to take, there's a twinge of excitement of what can we do with that kind of money. But with our track record in spending, it's hard to get too excited about us spending it kind of in a good way. You
say our track record of signings, but I think since Paratici has come in till the present day, I think the caliber of signings coming through this club has been good. Obviously, the track record you're talking about is the Gareth Bale money, and when we've sold big players in the past and our recruitment prior to that. But our recruitment since then has been good. I mean, the squad
since Bale money.
No, since Paratici has come in.
It's been decent. Richarlison for 60 million is still very much up in the air. Like when we spend big money, it's not when we spend big money, and that's what we're going to have to do.
But you're happy with the Van de Ven signing at 50 million. Obviously, it remains to be seen what's going to happen. But you're looking at our squad now, and in terms of just out and out recruitment, forgetting about prices on the individual players, you would say, a high percentage of that is quality players.
I like how our squad is shaping up. I'm not saying we have a bad squad.
The Bissoumas, the Madisons, Udogis, Pape Matar. These players are really good players, and they're going to shape our future.
But we have to. We're talking about spending 120 million on replacing our best ever goal scorer, whether we're going to be able to spend that money effectively and spend that money in a way which covers what we're losing. I'm just skeptical about that. We'll have to look. I think we were all saying that if we sell Kane, there's no excuse not to go for Tapsoba.
Yeah, and there is no excuse There's no excuse.
Obviously, I think Gift Orban's going to be the striker to come in and replace him, and he's an exciting prospect. But at the end of the day,
another hat trick last night, by the way.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's still a 21-year-old who only has experience in the Belgian league. So whether he comes and hits the ground running remains to be seen. Whether we're going to go for Tapsoba or not remains to be seen. So, and whether people start to put their prices up now that we're getting this kind of money, that's also going to be an issue. Maybe I think that money is going to go a lot quicker than people think it is. It's not going to last us very long, in my opinion.
I hope not.
So, look, I think there's a bit of a excitement of what that money can bring if we spend it well. But if we end up wasting that money, then we're gonna also we're gonna be in a terrible situation. So let's just hope that we have a plan for how we're going to spend this money and we spend it effectively, and then I think we can move on from this situation in a positive way. But it's all up in the air at the moment. Kane still has to accept the fee, and we don't have that. I know we have a few weeks, but we have 20 days to basically go on a splurge and spend this money. And when you're in that confined space, in terms of time, sometimes it forces you to make rash decisions, and I just hope we don't do that.
I would like to see us spend. How many players do you reckon we bring in with this money, and how many would you like to see us bring in, and what positions would you like? I mean, in my opinion, it's got to be a centre back, maybe a proper number 6, and a striker. The striker with Gift Orban, 20-30 million, I'm completely happy with that. Let's take the higher end, let's say 30 million for argument's sake. Tapsoba, let's say 60 million, something like that. And then the rest, I mean, that doesn't leave us with much left.
Yeah, it doesn't. I wouldn't spend this money on a number 6. I think we've got midfielders right now, and unless Højbjerg leaves, then we can spend that money that we get for Højbjerg on a midfielder. I just think this money that we're getting for Kane, a striker and a centre back, that's
so you're happy with just Orban and Tapsoba with that money?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, you're saying it's all good, but are you happy with it?
Am I happy with it? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm happy, but I would say I'm content with that. Look, we've got Orban and Richarlison and Veliz as our striking options. You got Tapsoba, Van de Ven, and Romero as our centre back options. That's okay. I wouldn't say I'm ecstatic with our striker options, but I think it's something to work with for sure for Ange, and maybe a lot of Veliz and Orban can definitely surprise a few people as to how they adapt to the Premier League. Maybe he can start getting a lot more from Richarlison. If we can get Richarlison into double digits of goals, then that would massively help.
Do you believe that can happen? Do you believe it will happen?
I think he can get into at least 10. I'm not massive at the moment. What I'm seeing from Richarlison, I'm not massively convinced he's going to start hitting 20 goals. But I think 10, is a realistic target. I think
what you got to expect from Richarlison this year, if he is our number 9 leading the line throughout the season, is 10 to 15 goals minimum. Between that figure, and you would expect Maddison to chip in. You expect Kulusevski massively has to chip in. Sonny has to get bigger totals than he did last season. You're looking at players. You need to share the goals around. You need to get many goals from all over the pitch, and I think you can supplement those goals that we're missing from Harry Kane, as well as bits and pieces from other areas of the pitch. You're looking at Gift Orban. If he comes in, you expect him to mesh in with a few from the bench. So I think there can be life without Harry Kane this season, and I still think that the objectives for this season shouldn't change with or without Harry Kane.
I'll just say with Harry Kane, our attack is probably in the top, if on paper anyway. I'm not saying, look, in practice obviously things change. Maybe Orban becomes a star and gets 30 goals, who knows. But I'm saying on paper, with Harry Kane, I think our strike force is up there with the best in the league. Probably second to City, our strike force with Harry Kane. Without Harry Kane, I'm not even sure it's in the top 4.
Wow,
that's what I would say.
But I think that the Ange system can supplement that massively, though. I really believe that.
Everyone plays attacking football now. All the top clubs are playing attacking football, so they all have attacking systems. So it's not just Ange playing attacking football, and so you need that quality to be the separation.
But it's not just him. It's not just them playing attacking football. But what we have to compare it on is what we've done over the last 3-4 years. And what we've done is played everything through Harry Kane. Harry Kane has been basically our whole team for the past 3 or 4 years, pretty much. Everything's gone through him, and that wouldn't have been the case this coming season. So I think the way we were going to play our football is going to be so much less reliant on Harry Kane. So in a way, like I've been saying all along, at this time to lose Harry Kane, as much as it is going to be detrimental to us and it is going to decrease the value and decrease the attacking quality of the squad, it's going to be much easier to supplement it in this system than it would have been in previous systems.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying on paper, in my mind, I think we go from up, as I said, I think we drop out the top 4 in terms of our attacking quality on paper. Not to say that I think we definitely drop out the top 4 race in general, because I think if we can get a Tapsoba in, all of a sudden our defence is looking really strong. All of a sudden Van de Ven, Tapsoba, Romero at centre-back, that's up there with some of the best centre-back options, I think, in the Premier League, to be honest. And I
don't think you can say that just yet, because you need to see how Van de Ven and even a Tapsoba take to the Premier League. You've got settled defences so far in the Premier League. You've got Manchester United, who've got Varane and Martinez, who are settled. You've got Arsenal, who have got a settled back 4. You've got Man City, who are Man City. You've got Chelsea as well, who have got an unbelievable defence. I mean, I don't think our defence matches up to those just yet.
I think Tapsoba, Romero, Van de Ven on paper for me, if you say, obviously they're settled, so they've got more time together. I'm saying on paper, quality-wise, I think that's really strong. Maybe I wouldn't say it's maybe better than what you've just mentioned, but I think it's comparable to it. Whereas before, obviously, it wasn't. But I think so. I think defense would markedly improve, and that could maybe supplement our decrease in quality in attack. And maybe that's where we can make up the difference in losing Kane. So I don't think we drop out the top 4 race just because we lose Kane, but I do think the quality of our attack is obviously massively reduced, and that's something we're going to have to deal with and going to have to overcome this season if Kane does end up leaving.
Yeah, but in a weird way, I actually think that we can deal with the loss of Kane better than we dealt with the losses of like Gareth Bale and Dimitar Berbatov, and when we lost the top players at that time.
Yeah, because we were better overall teams now. Back then we were a different club to when we were back then, 100%. So I think back then we really had to sell those kind of players. Not maybe Berbatov, but definitely Bale. I think when you get a bid like that with the size of the club we were back then, I think you had to accept to try and like really go big in the transfer market. I think in this day and age, for me, I know as much as it helps us spend a bit more money getting the money for Kane. I don't even think we need to sell Kane to spend. Like, we've shown that already. I think we could have spent money without selling Harry Kane. I just think it gives us a bit of that extra boost to try and get more signings and stuff like that, and the fact that he's leaving on a free. So I think I agree with you. I think we're definitely in a position now. Where we can kind of deal with this Harry Kane loss in a much better way, and hopefully Ange can kind of take the positives out of it if he can get some signings through the door which really fit the team.
Yeah, look, it's spot on. It's just as much as it is a kick in the teeth, Harry Kane bid being accepted at this time, I do think there can be life after it, like we just mentioned. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Regardless of if we think there can be life after Harry Kane, there's no two ways about it. It's a dark day today. We've accepted a bid for our best ever player in Harry Kane. And if your heart isn't broken today, then when will it ever be broken as a Tottenham Hotspur fan? We're literally about to lose the best player in our history, the player that has given us so much joy over the past, 10 years now? And, we never thought that goal-scoring record for Jimmy Greaves was ever going to get broken. And he broke it last year, and it was an absolutely momentous occasion. And, he could be leaving at the end of this summer. Right now, he could be leaving in the next couple of days. So we do have a new season just around the corner, and this is not exactly what we needed 3 days before the season started.
We're supposed to be doing like Spurs pre-season predictions like today, and I'm like, I don't know what to predict now.
Yeah. But look, that is the breaking news for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding the Harry Kane situation. Do you think it's set in stone and he is off now, or do you still think there's a slight chance that he can reject Bayern Munich today or tomorrow? But we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.